There are now over 90 brawlers in Brawl Stars, and it might be hard to decide which ones you want to play, whether you're a casual player or you're sweating it out in ranked mode. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 10 best brawlers that you should be playing right now. Starting us off with our 10th best brawler, we have the newest brawler in the game, Jae Young. If you like to play support brawlers and you still have a stack of credits that you'd like to use, I think that Jae Young would be a good investment. But if you're still unsure whether or not you like him, well, let me ask you some questions. Do you like to play passively and keep your teammates alive and healthy? Well, Jae Young can do that while he's in his party mode. Or do you have a case of the zoomies and like to run around the entire map? Guess what? Jae Young can do that as well when he's in his work mode, and he can go even faster thanks to his crowd goes mild star power. There's actually no bad way to play him, and his gadgets are both really good too. Personally, I prefer the Weekend Warrior one, but you do you. This gadget pairs perfectly with his extra high note star power, so if you like to see big damage, so long as you can hit multiple enemies with a single projectile, you're going to get it with this one. And if none of that has convinced you, what if I told you he has 4 unique battle themes?
Time! This is our moment! Melody power! Let's take it down a notch.
Come on, no other brawler in the game has ever had that. I actually really hope they give Jae Young his Hypercharge its own theme as well. That would be absolute cinema. You know what else would be absolute cinema? Our 9th best brawler on this list, the lean, mean projection machine himself, Buster. Now, Buster has always been a good, consistent tank, and his Hypercharge has only made him even better. Buster's already a decently fast brawler with good close range damage, and not only does he get a good speed buff from his Hypercharge, but he also gets a good attack buff from both it and his blockbuster star power. Then if you pair that with his slow-mo replay gadget, he's assured to get himself and his teammates a kill or two. Also, quick rant. Why do they still call it slow-mo replay? It doesn't slow enemies anymore. Everything that makes Buster a great standalone brawler also makes him an even better defensive choice in almost every mode, especially where it's best to keep your friends close, and honestly, you can never go wrong with Buster. And speaking of brawlers you can't go wrong with, that also applies to our 8th best brawler, Gray. With his walking cane gadget, he can destroy enemy cover and sometimes disrupt enemy attacks as well, protecting himself or his allies from being put in dangerous situations, such as getting stunned by a Frank. It's also one of the most annoying gadgets ever to deal with, like top 10 most annoying, maybe even top 5. And then you have his Hypercharge and his star powers. Now at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that the shield from Gray's Hypercharge would be kind of weak because it's only 1,000 hit points, which is not a lot. But if you combine that with his fake injury star power as well as a shield gear, well then yeah, I'm glad it's only 1,000 HP. Gray becomes like an assassin tank that some brawlers just cannot kill because they don't have the damage to deal with him. His Hypercharge, of course, makes it to where he can summon 2 sets of portals. Not only does that mean Gray and his team can travel 2 times the distance, but they also receive a 1,000 HP shield, which very well could be a deciding factor in who wins a fight. You can also use Gray's portals to kill an enemy gem carrier, grab the gems, and flee back to safety in gem grab. Or maybe get that last 1% to secure a victory in hot zone, or just help your teammate get to the enemy high safe and destroy it. Now, I haven't mentioned Wasabi powers yet because that's a whole nother topic, even though our next brawler on this list has a good one, but he really doesn't need it, and that's Hank. And despite the nerf to the homing from his Hypercharge Super, he still gets a ton of value out of it, being able to heal for 50% of his max HP like he normally would, and if he's positioned properly, he can probably hit an enemy with a couple missiles as well. Hank has a ton of HP, so much so that he can put pressure on his enemies while charging his super, while taking damage, thanks to that tank trait. And if he's paired with a support brawler like Byron or Barry or Jae Young like I mentioned earlier, their healing allows Hank to take more damage and charge even more supers. And then it gets even better because Hank does really well on maps with a lot of walls, and if a map happens to have a lot of them, Hank's star power take cover combined with his barricade gadget will make it so that he sticks around that much longer. Hank honestly has so many tools to help him either get close to his enemies or keep them at bay. And if an enemy does happen to jump on Hank, well, that shrimp can just pop his super and melt them. Super. And if we want to talk about melting things, our 6th best brawler Carl can and will burn his enemies to a crisp whenever he gets a chance. Ever since the gadget rework, Carl has been a terror in the meta thanks to his heat ejector gadget. Being able to spam that has turned him into a lean, mean damage dealing machine, and even after it got a cooldown and damage nerf, it's still an absolute nightmare to deal with. You almost never see his flying hook gadget anymore. That's how broken Heat Ejector is. And if you thought that it wasn't broken enough with just his gadget, his hypercharge can not only allow him to deal ridiculous damage, but just like his gadget, it also allows Carl to leave a trail of flaming rocks that will burn any enemies that step on them. Oh, and Supercell, when you do eventually add second hypercharges, please make Carl's Wasabi Power one of them. It's really fun, okay? Thanks, appreciate it. Now, you might have been stepping on those hot rocks from Carl, but I've stepped on plenty of mine from our 5th best brawler, Bo. Like Carl, ever since the gadget rework, Bo can just spam super totems one after another, which makes him able to charge not just his super faster, not just his hypercharge faster, but also his teammates' supers and hypercharges faster as well. So as long as your enemies never hit your totems, you can have them on the field for the entire match, meaning that you and your team can get super after super, hypercharge after super after hyper. You get what, it's just an infinite circle of terror. The area control he has with his mines is crazy, especially with his Snare Bear star power. I mean, who doesn't like watching your enemies just sit there and shake while you kill them? And if you want to make sure those enemies slip up, that's what our 4th best brawler Lou does best. Now, if you've been paying attention, you'll notice a theme with these past few brawlers. That being that they've all had really good controlling utility, and Lou is no exception. He's got a star power that reduces enemy damage depending on how close they are to being frozen, and a super that makes it hard for enemies to move around, dodge his shots, and a gadget that works perfectly with his super, pretty much guaranteeing a freeze 99% of the time that you use it. But if you're not happy with only a 99% chance, don't worry, because Lou has a hypercharge that is nasty, being 100% guaranteed freeze. Otherwise, you're guaranteed to kill them. But if you do miss it, well, that's a you issue, not a Lou issue. And of course, he also has this Burger Lou skin, which in my opinion is god tier, unlike the trash Lou skin.
Huh?
Yeah.
You might want to stay away from our 3rd best brawler, and that's Amber. With the gadget rework as well as her newly added hypercharge, Amber can turn the entire battlefield into one ginormous puddle of fire oil, and if you get burned by it, yeah, I don't even think your ashes are going to remain. And even if you don't light up Amber's fire oil, just having it on the ground is enough to scare your enemies, especially in hot zone. And that hypercharge will boost her damage and her speed, so if she catches up to her enemies, which she will, her main attack is going to hurt like hell. Another thing about Amber is that she's really good, not just in long range combat, but also in close combat. So if you're playing Amber and for some reason an enemy bull tries to run you down, you can retaliate by popping her dancing flame gadget, and at that point, he might as well be dancing with death itself. With all of that damage and control in mind, I think that it's safe to say that Amber is hot to touch. But do you know who's hotter than Amber? Lumi. I mean, don't look at me. Brawl Stars themselves said so in the title of her music video. Actually, I wonder if it's Draco who wrote that title. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. 2nd best brawler in the game for good reason. Now, before this video, she did get an HP nerf, which, in my opinion, probably wasn't warranted. She was already a rather squishy brawler, having about the same HP as Surge. However, the cooldown nerf that she got for both of her gadgets was 100% justified. But even with those nerfs, she's still absolutely incredible thanks to her very spammable main attack, combined with her halftime star power, guaranteeing that she'll at least always get a few good hits on her enemies. And then you have her super. It is so freaking good. Being able to root enemies is not only strong, it's not only fun, but it's also very rewarding. But aside from all that, the real icing on the cake here is that she's fun. Like, she's actually one of the most fun brawlers that have come into the game in a long time, in my opinion. And she doesn't even have her hypercharge yet. Just imagine the destruction that's going to ensue when she does get it. And Lumi would actually be the very best brawler on this list if it weren't for the actual best brawler in the game. But before I talk about that brawler, I do want to give an honorable mention to Bonnie. Yes, you heard me right, Bonnie, and no, I am not joking. In case you didn't know, Bonnie was recently given a very small but very good rework. Now, instead of becoming a sitting duck and having to wait for what feels like eternity to get her super back, Bonnie can now immediately fully recharge her super upon landing, and she can immediately get right back into the action. Also, Bonnie can infinitely dribble the ball in Brawl Ball with her super, which could lead to some very good plays. I mean, who knows? If she becomes the new best brawler in the game when she gets her hypercharge, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And speaking of becoming the best brawler in the game because of a hypercharge, if you've been playing the game since the update, then you know dang well that it's Kenji, and it's not even close. Now, Kenji was already the best brawler in the game when he was released, like not even a year ago. And then after he got nerfed, he got knocked down to A tier, and that's totally fine. Back then, at least you could fight him and have a chance at winning, but now, not only is he the best brawler in the game, again, but he is so monstrously broken that it's not even funny. And that, of course, is thanks to his hypercharge, what with being Terra Super, but infinitely better. It doesn't matter where you play in the game, whether it be Gem Grab, Brawl Ball, Hot Zone, Heist, everywhere, it's Kenji, and there's a good reason, because he's just that good. Once he gets to that hypercharge, there is no stopping him. He will kill you if he uses it on you, and possibly not just you, he'll cycle him and get somebody else as well, or your whole team. And you might think that you're safe in solo showdown, but you'd be wrong, because if you see a Kenji, you have one of two options. Kill him as soon as possible, or pray that he will be merciful and let you get second place. So there you have it, the 10 best brawlers in Brawl Stars that you should be playing right now.